Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we will take a deep dive into the life of one of the greatest minds in human history, Sir Isaac Newton. His discoveries shaped our understanding of the universe and continue to influence science today. We will not only learn about Sir Isaac Newton, but also enhance our English skills along the way. So, sit back, relax, and let's explore the remarkable journey of this legendary scientist. Isaac Newton was born on January 4th, 1643, in Woolsthorpe, Lincolnshire, England. However, due to changes in the calendar system, some historical records list his birth as December 25th, 1642. Newton was born prematurely and was so small and weak that his survival seemed uncertain. His father, also named Isaac Newton, passed away 3 months before his birth. When Newton was just 3 years old, his mother, Hannah Ayscough, remarried and left him in the care of his maternal grandparents. This early separation from his mother left a lasting impact on Newton, shaping his introverted and often solitary nature. Newton spent much of his childhood alone, fostering a deep curiosity about the world around him. He was a quiet child, often lost in thought, but his mind was always active. He built various mechanical contraptions, including a working model of a windmill and a sundial that was so accurate it was said to be able to tell time more precisely than the village clock. This creativity and engineering mindset hinted at the genius that would later emerge. As a child, Newton showed little interest in farming, which was the profession his family expected him to pursue. Instead, he demonstrated an exceptional curiosity about the world. He attended the King's School in Grantham, where he was introduced to the basics of Latin, Greek, and mathematics. At first, Newton was an average student, often distracted and uninterested in his studies. However, a turning point came when he got into a schoolyard fight with another student. Determined to prove his worth, Newton channeled his energy into academic excellence, quickly surpassing his peers. Newton's notebooks from this time reveal a mind eager to explore the mysteries of nature. He conducted small experiments, building water clocks, observing the movement of stars, and sketching diagrams of machines. His fascination with the forces that governed the physical world grew deeper, and he spent hours questioning everything he saw. Despite his growing intellect, Newton's home life remained complicated. His mother wanted him to take over the family farm, but he despised agricultural work. Eventually, an uncle recognized his potential and convinced his mother to send him to Cambridge University, a decision that would change the course of history. In 1661, Newton enrolled at Trinity College, Cambridge, where he studied subjects such as arithmetic, geometry, and classical philosophy. At the time, the university curriculum was still rooted in ancient teachings, particularly those of Aristotle. However, Newton was far more interested in the new scientific ideas emerging across Europe, particularly those of Copernicus, Kepler, and Galileo. Newton spent most of his time studying independently, often skipping meals and social gatherings to focus on his experiments and calculations. He meticulously copied notes from books and filled his personal journals with ideas that would later become groundbreaking discoveries. His deep interest in mathematics led him to explore advanced algebra and the beginnings of what would later become calculus. In 1665, Newton's studies were interrupted when the Great Plague struck England, forcing Cambridge to shut down. Newton returned to his family home, where he entered one of the most productive periods of his life. During this time, he developed the fundamental principles of calculus, explored the properties of light, and began formulating his laws of motion and gravity. This period, later called his Annus Mirabilis, or Year of Wonders, saw Newton revolutionize multiple scientific fields while working alone in isolation. One of the most famous stories about Newton involves an apple falling from a tree, inspiring his thoughts on gravity. While the exact details of the story remain uncertain, Newton himself later recounted that observing a falling apple led him to wonder why objects always fall straight toward the ground instead of moving sideways or upward. Newton realized that the same force pulling the apple to the ground also governed the motion of the moon and planets. This insight led to the formulation of his universal law of gravitation. However, proving his idea mathematically was a challenge. Newton spent years perfecting his calculations, leading to the publication of his masterpiece, Philosophia Naturalis Principia Mathematica, in 1687. This book introduced the three laws of motion and the law of universal gravitation, forming the foundation of classical mechanics. Newton's discoveries transformed our understanding of the universe. His equations explained planetary orbits, the movement of comets, and even the tides. Scientists around the world hailed him as a genius, and his work cemented his place in history. Newton's brilliance extended beyond physics. His independent development of calculus revolutionized mathematics, though a bitter dispute arose between him and German mathematician Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz over who had invented it first. This controversy persisted for decades and divided European mathematicians into rival camps. Newton also made groundbreaking contributions to optics. Through experiments with prisms, he discovered that white light was composed of multiple colors, a finding that contradicted prevailing theories. He constructed the first practical reflecting telescope, improving the quality of astronomical observations. His work on light and color laid the foundation for modern optical physics. Newton's influence extended beyond theoretical science when he became president of the Royal Society in 1703. He used this position to guide scientific research in England, but his leadership was marked by both brilliance and controversy. He engaged in bitter disputes with other scientists, including John Flamsteed, the Astronomer Royal, over access to astronomical data. Newton's tenure reshaped the Royal Society, emphasizing experimental research and rigorous peer review. In 1696, Newton took on a new role as Warden of the Royal Mint, later becoming its master. He was responsible for overseeing England's currency reform and led a fierce crackdown on counterfeiters. Newton personally investigated and prosecuted counterfeiters, using his mathematical mind to improve coin production and prevent fraud. His tenure at the Mint was marked by efficiency and determination, further demonstrating his diverse talents. Newton had deep religious beliefs and spent a significant portion of his life studying biblical texts. He wrote extensively on theology, interpreting religious scriptures through a scientific lens. Additionally, he was fascinated by alchemy, believing in the possibility of transmuting base metals into gold. Although his alchemical pursuits did not yield practical results, They influenced his thinking about chemistry and matter. Newton's later years were marked by fame and recognition, but also by ongoing disputes with other scientists. He continued refining his theories while dealing with chronic health issues. Despite his declining health, he remained active in scientific discussions until his final days. Newton passed away in 1727, leaving behind a scientific legacy that still endures today. His work laid the foundation for modern physics, influencing countless scientists, including Einstein. His impact on mathematics, physics, and philosophy remains unparalleled, securing his place as one of history's greatest thinkers. Thank you for listening to this journey through the life of one of history's greatest minds. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories and lessons. See you in the next video.